What's up, everybody? It's CMP with Craftmaster Productions and Studio One Tutorials.com. If you haven't been by Studio One Tutorials to pick up your membership for premium tutorials and exclusive content, it is 50 cents a day. Bag up 2 coming soon. Yeah. So I'm going to be doing a preview of the tutorial that's going to be dropping on Sunday. This is something in the style of Wee Ball, off the new Meek album, and my version is a lot rougher and darker than what's on the album, just because that's my personality. And real quick before I play it, just I always want to talk about this on the tutorials, especially on YouTube. When you guys are watching other people's tutorials or my tutorials and everything, you should never be redoing the beats that we're doing step by step, note by note with us. What you should be doing is be taking your own taste and sensibilities and approaching, using the different methods that we use, and that's how you'll get the most out of this kind of stuff. So this is what the track sounds like. Meek's version is a little bit more fluffy and flowery and uplifting, and when I go to create stuff, that's not like the first thing that jumps into my mind. My stuff is more like darker and dreary type of vibes. So that's the first thing. I did it on purpose because I wanted to kind of make that point that when you guys are watching these tutorials, you can do whatever you want with it and you'll get more out of it. So the piece that I'm going to show you all on this YouTube version of the tutorial is the piano. The piano in this, these techniques can be applied to any speed, really any genre of or any subgenre in hip hop. The original to my ear sounded a lot like a sample or something that was played and rechopped, to kind of recreate that. And the reason why I wanted to show this was, I had to think in terms of, if I was, chopping a sample, and how would I recreate that vibe. I used Keyscape, and I had to change a bunch of the settings to actually get this sound, and that's more on that is going to be on the on the tutorial on the site. This is really what I wanted to show you guys. So if we go to, let's go to musical functions, go to length, and let's set all these notes to 16 notes so we can kind of see how I drew this out. This is how this melody started, right? So what I did was, first I focused on getting a similar rhythm to what the melody was in the original track. And when I do stuff like that, and this can be applied to really anything that you want to kind of recreate, or just recapture and produce in the style of, like, if it's, especially if you're having problems just coming up with melodies and stuff like that. I had somebody ask me about that, like, parameters for creating melodies, and it's really, if you don't play an instrument, the best advice I can give you is to take take melodies that you like, that you enjoy, from other people's music. Put the original track in your DAW, and just kind of draw out the notes as they're hitting. It doesn't matter if you do it, if you get the correct notes, but you get the rhythm first, and you'll start to really see how melodies like take shape and are drawn. And this is really important, especially if you don't play instruments. So this was the original rhythm of the top notes that I heard. That's what I was following. right, and then from there, once I had the rhythm down, I was able to, I was able to say, all right, let me go ahead and get the tone. So I shifted this one up an octave. I brought this to the 6th note, brought this to the 5th note in the scale, just to use that the minor second interval, because that always makes things nice and tense and grimy. Alright, so now that I had that, when I was listening to the original, I noticed that the second part of the sample, the top notes sounded like they were an octave higher, so I went ahead and pressed shift up and did that. Then again, I'm just kind of just going here, freaking the minor second intervals. If you guys are having problems with the with the vernacular, Studio One Tutorials.com music theory tab will get you straight. It is 50 cents a day. Something like that. The actual, I don't even think that's what I originally did, but it doesn't matter, it works. Now the next thing that I did was, all right, so I knew this original piano section had a lot more tones layered over it, probably playing chords. So I went ahead, I'm working the key of D, so I just went down an octave and drew this this first chord in. So I had this guy holding down Alt, dragging up to the 1 3 5, and I'll press D, hit this one. Now this is the part where you got to start thinking about the samples. So this little motif right here, this da-na-na-na, every 4 notes felt like a chop for me. So what I did was I added this chord again to every 4 notes, and then that way it would have that choppy feel. Now when you listen to it, all right, cool. Then I also raised these up a half, or to the 4 and the 6. That way we'd have like a little progression change. And what else did I do? So then I started just adding sustain to all these. So I dragged all these notes out, just really legato mode. Because when you have short notes like these up here, they can start to sound really plucky, especially with good piano VSTs, and that is not a natural sound. And if you're trying to create something like a sample, you kind of want those tones layering over each other. Alright, so, and then I took these and I humanized them. Music functions, humanize. That way I could get them a little bit off the grid. Did the same thing with these guys. Humanizing also messes with the velocity. So again, if you're trying to get a more realistic sounding tone, I took these guys, lowered the velocity on them a little bit. I took these middle notes, zoomed in, and kind of got like a little fake ass strum type of thing going. I took these and inverted them up. Right? Yeah. Now, if you wanted to make something that sounded, if you were really, into the vibe of that Meek track, just set your scale. Instead of using the natural minor, use a natural major, and you'll get a more, like a more breezy, uplifting type of sound, as opposed to something that's more ominous and dark, which is where I feel comfortable composing. But yeah, this is kind of the method that you want to use for creating piano sections like this that sound sampled. Just to recap, you want to make sure that you extend, your top melody notes all the way, to the end of the bar, so you get that type of legato feel. You want these tones overlapping each other. That is kind of mimics the sustain pedal, which is someone who's playing a piano obviously is going to be using the sustain pedal a lot. And then to get these if you have melody notes on top and you want them to feel like there's more of a chop, put some chords underneath it where you would have that choppy rhythm, where you would imagine yourself, playing your chops with your, with your keyboard or your drum pads, and that will give you that vibe. So let's do it one more time. Alright, and if you guys are interested in seeing the full tutorial, just go to studio1tutorials.com, sign up. It is 50 cents a day. Keep it simple, don't be basic, and we will see you on the